All right. How the hell's everyone doing? I think we should give it up one more time for Pete really quick for putting on this hell of a show for us. I really appreciate this room. It's been giving me a lot of practice. I just started performing back in August, so I'm having a hell of a time, and I do not have any new material, so in the spirit of experimentation, I figured I'd just tell a story from my life. Back about 13 years ago, I found out that I was going to be a father for the first time, and to put it nicely, I was a complete fucking loser who should have no business raising kids at the time. So I went ahead and started looking for a job because I had none, and I did what anybody that was desperate for money back at the time did, and I went on Craigslist. Now, if anyone here is familiar with Craigslist about 13 years ago, it's a perfect place to find sketchy money really quick. One gig I had was modeling cowboy boots for probably a serial killer in his apartment, making YouTube videos for men to jack off to. $50 in my pocket there. So I kept on looking, and there was an ad on Craigslist for male volunteers to be paid for the male medical exam to train students. I was like, I could do that. I have a penis. It's not a great penis, but it's a penis. So
Hey, you had a baby, so.
There you go. I made two of them. Thank you. So I signed up, and they called me back and said, can you come in tomorrow? I said, yeah. I don't see myself losing my penis by then, so I'll be there. And I went there, and I started thinking about it, and I got into my own head. I'm a very self-conscious person, especially with my body. And I'm, let me say, hung like a Greek statue. I have what I'd like to call an economical penis. When it's not in use, it just kind of retracts. So I start getting in my head about this, and I'm like, oh shit, now I gotta be naked in front of people. And I get in there, the nurse, gets me through the sign-up process, gets me into a room, tells me to get naked, put on the robe, and then eventually there will be a doctor and 3 students coming in to do this procedure. And I was like, all right. So I get naked, I get into the robe, and I'm a very self-conscious person, like I said, and I start getting panicky and anxiety-ridden, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, I gotta figure out a way to break the ice. So I decide that when they get in there, I'm gonna do something funny to break the ice. So doctor comes in, problem number 1, she's gorgeous, and she's a woman. So I'm terrified. In behind her follows 3 way more gorgeous, college-aged girls, and all of a sudden I'm ready to faint. Or right into Penthouse forums, depending on how this next part goes. So they get in there, they explain the procedure. I can't really hear anything because it's just like shell shock. But all of a sudden, the doctor asks me to lift my robe. And I'm like, okay, break the ice. I slowly start pulling it up, and I'm like, all I can think in my head is Space Odyssey 2001. So I was like, bum, 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 bum. And thankfully, they didn't call the cops. They all started laughing, which is probably the only time in my life I've ever wanted a room full of women to laugh at my penis. But then they basically get down to it, and the doctor explains again the procedure, where I'm not sure if anyone here has been through the male whole exam, but basically the doctor gets down on one knee in front of you. I'm not going to do it because my knees are sore. Basically, she does what's called palpating your penis. And that's basically they grab it by the very base of it, and they do this kind of maneuver toward the tip. And that's to make sure that there's no discharge. Thankfully, there was no discharge, because that would have been embarrassing. It was also the first time a woman had touched my junk in quite a while, because I was married. So then, after the palpating of the penis, comes the hernia check, where they basically shove 2 fingers up into your nutsack and tell you to turn and cough or bear down. I didn't really know what bearing down meant, but I just coughed my ass off and told her to get her hands out of my nuts. So then after that, it was time for them to get their real money's worth, and she said, we need you to lie on this bed here toward the wall and lift your knee just toward your chest. And I started crying. But I did it anyway because I was assured by my friend who I had called before this procedure, who was a sex worker, that $75 for 20 minutes of fingers only was definitely worth it. So I sucked it up. Literally, I sucked it up right there. And she did this little swipey thing kind of thing, and kind of swipes along your prostate to make sure it's not like out of shape or whatever. And that felt weird, I'm not gonna lie. I liked it a little. And the following 3 procedures was more of a race in my mind not to become aroused, because that would have been embarrassing, and like I said, it had been a while since I had been touched. So could have ended up messy a little bit too. So. Anyways, we had a great time. They all gave me their numbers, and it ended up that they liked me so much they invited me back the next week to teach another group. And that went great until the last member of the student party walked in the door, and it was a fucking 6'6" dude with sausage fingers. And I passed out. I don't remember what else happened, but that's the end of the story.
Dylan Nickerson, everybody.